Welcome back. Wide right. CFB week number 1. You can tell I'm a little under the weather this week, but we're going to fight through it, give you the best college football coming at you from week 1. We got a full slew of games. This isn't your regular old week 0 with just the sparsity of games we're coming at you. But we're not live this week. We're recorded, and hopefully we're on Thursday night, not Friday night. So enjoy the live stream or enjoy the chat with the guys in the back during while the stream is going on during the premiere. I hope it goes over well. I won't be there. I'll let y'all know at a future date where I'm going to be at. But joining us first from about 10 feet behind me in another room, it's Hunter. Hunter, what's going on, bud? How are you doing?
It's like 10 meters, but yeah.
Yeah, it's whatever. I don't know. So you dressed in camo. You doing a little bird hunting starts soon. You doing a little bird hunting coming up?
Yeah. It's a rare time of the year that it's cardinal season in San Marcos, followed
Oh,
immediately by roadrunner season.
Cardinal season, you say? All right. Joining us from across the pond. I'm kidding. From the left coast. He says the left coast is the best coast. He's so cool that Snap-on gave him his own color. Please welcome to the show, Cool Jude Santa Cruz. I won't have a voice tomorrow, but it won't matter. What is going on, Jude? How are you doing? You look like you're the
Um,
mobile version of Jude Santa Cruz this week.
yeah, yes, sir. I'm on location, but
On
man,
location.
hope everybody's having a great week, and I hope everybody's ready for a great weekend of college football. It's official week 1. No 6 game week 0. This is week 1, baby. Full slate of games.
There you go. So this is gonna be a little bit different than the regular live streams because what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna mute one of these guys. I'm gonna let the other one talk, and then they get to bring the thunder. And then whenever I talk, I'm gonna mute both these guys. That way they can't interrupt me. And then what we're gonna have is the format's gonna be a little bit different. We're gonna start with our salute to the service academies. Then we're gonna move to winners and losers. Then we're gonna move to conference breakdowns followed by ones to watch, and that'll be our top 7 games. And then we'll have our conclusion where each of the panelists will get to make a bold proclamation. They'll get to shout out any single game they want to, and then we have the infamous game of the week, Jude. And when I mean game of the week, I mean game of the WEAK. Are you excited about the game of the week again?
Oh man, I love that. That was one of my favorite segments from last season.
It's so great. It's been like 15 minutes guessing.
But this year, we're not guessing. You get to pick the game of the week. I'm going to pick my own game of the week. And then
The
we'll
great
just keep on turning.
Kaznax game of the week.
The great Kaznax game of the week. I don't have my crystal ball or my headdress yet. We're working on it. So, yeah. And it's Kasnak the Magnificent. So that'll be in a future segment. We also have some big guests coming up, but not tonight. All right, tonight is all about the sports. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go to quarter number 1. I'm gonna mute Jude and bring on Hunter. I guess I should mention Lindsay's not going to be here tonight because with scheduling, we kind of just booted him out. Sorry, Lindsay. Hunter's going to cover your segment.
BC by 70. Lindsay told me that personally, actually.
All right, Hunter. Hunter locks on. There we go. This is a segment. All right. So it's salute the service academies. Navy's playing a big game this week.
Well, I mean, in some respects, you could say it's an important game. They host Bucknell. Bucknell's not a particular FCS power by any measure. They bring in a normal spread RPO offense that you'd come to expect from that level of play. Navy comes in with a new offensive coordinator, third one in 3 years, so we'll see how that develops. They have Blake Horvath, who played well towards the end of the season last year in relief of Tay Lavatai, who is now gone on to serve, I believe, in the Navy. Actually, I'm pretty sure in the Navy. And so Blake Horvath comes in now as a full-time starter in a new offense run by Drew Cronick he was the head coach of the Mason Bears. That's not correct. I'll find it here in a second. But he brings in a a new age wing T style offense, a lot of wing T formations, some triple option stuff, some kind of RPOs out of the wing T, some shotgun T things, but not Mercer Bears. That's what I was. I watched a lot of their film last year to get an idea of what Navy's done. Navy didn't have any film practices, best of my understanding, and I looked, couldn't find any without paying for Capital Gazette, which I'm not going to do. So, yeah, it's a big game. We get to see the offense again, and kind of a fun thing to think about is Navy's favored by 33 points, which they have not scored in 3 years. So we'll see if they finally pull it off and score 33 points without much struggle.
Well, best of luck to Navy this weekend. Best of luck to all the service academies. Just to let you know, Coast Guard Academy and the Merchant Marine Academy will kick their seasons off September 7th. So if you're looking for those game highlights, breakdowns, and recaps, coming at you soon. All right, Hunter. We're going to go ahead and move to winners and losers. And we watched some college football last weekend, and I would say there's some losers coming out of week 0. Would you say there's some losers? Give me a couple. Give me a loser from week 0.
Well, a loser is the now even smaller group of people on the football interwebs that believe that DJU is somehow a long-term solution at quarterback or a possible day 1 NFL draft pick or a day 2 pick. Sure, he wows you every 30 plays, but when it really comes down to the brass tacks and to winning football games and playing to win, it's not there. For a guy as big and as, I wouldn't say fast, but has as much speed as he does for a guy that big, he doesn't put it to great use, especially now. And I thought now Mike Norvell offense. Mike Norvell originally was a read option guy. And I thought that we would see that again. We'd see a lot of running, a lot of, to quote Alabama fans, murder ball. It wasn't there. And I think that, across the season, DJU will play better than he did in Ireland in week 0. But I think in a big game, Jordan Travis wins that game every day of the week. I fully believe Jordan Travis wins that game. But DJU, when it mattered most, when he needed to complete drives, it just wasn't there.
All right. Give me a winner from last week, Hunter. Who's a big winner from last week?
Big winner from last week is Brent Key. This is his 10th, what someone could call a marquee win, a ranked win at Georgia Tech. And he was given nothing to start with there from Jeff Collins. And he has built the program up now across the last year and a half into a place where, it's not crazy to say Georgia Tech could compete for the ACC. I'm not necessarily in that boat yet, but I went from saying 6 to 7 wins to 7 to 8, 8 almost solid wins because they beat FSU, a top 10 team who will still be a good team this year in Ireland, sure. But at the point of attack, they won at the point of attack on every phase of play. They ran the ball incredibly well. And it wasn't just because Haynes King got little scampers. Haynes King was used as a battering ram to go and hit the Georgia Tech or the Florida State defender straight up. Jamal Haynes was a great running back. He had great vision. There was a couple of issues with some fumbles, and that will get sorted out. It was a wet game. I don't necessarily see that as a consistent issue. They didn't lose any of those fumbles, so again, kind of not a big deal, but still something that is worrying. You don't want to ever put the ball on the ground. That's bad football. And I think that they'll get that fixed up. But in the new age of college football, where a lot of teams run a lot more than people think, they show that they are ready for it.
Gotcha. All right. I think why don't we just head over to conference right now? You want to go to conference play?
Always.
All right, let's hop over to some conference play. All right, let's start with the Sun Belt Conference. I know the Sun Belt's near and dear to your heart. Let's start with the Sun Belt Conference.
The Sun Belt Conference. Well, the first conference game is Jackson State at UL Monroe. And the thing you need to watch for in this game is the quarterback UL Monroe's name. It's an all-time name, General Booty. I don't know where he's from, but I do know that he played at Tyler Junior College, and he set the junior college record for most passing yards in the season. So he can sling it. Then we have Coastal Carolina taking on Jacksonville State on Thursday as well, which I think for your appointment viewing games, there's North Dakota State versus Colorado. There's some other good games, TCU, Stanford. But this is a game that I'm personally going to have on the main TV, blocked in. That game stays on the whole time because I don't want to miss a minute of that action. While I do expect regression from Coastal Carolina, I'm a huge Rich Rodriguez fan, and I want to see his offenses play as much as possible. Following that on Saturday, we have my beloved Texas State Bobcats hosting the Lamar Cardinals at 7 p.m. in San Marcos, where we will consume the Cardinals and eat them up. App State takes on Eastern Tennessee State at 2:30 p.m. on Saturday. App State should come away with a 42-14 victory there. Georgia Southern hosts a G5 favorite in Boise State. Georgia Southern's, their Clay Helton has done well to maintain the winning traditions of Georgia Southern. Not a lot of people know they're actually a very well-founded, well-traditioned team and program. I think, though, that Boise State has a little bit more horses, as it were, and that they beat the Eagles there. Old Dominion takes on South Carolina. I'd love Old Dominion to take some wins, but South Carolina gets it done. And if I'm taking up too much time, to stop me.
No, keep going. You got
all right. Stony Brook from New York takes on Marshall. And, Marshall's coach is probably on the hot seat. It doesn't get warmer after this game. They crushed Stony Brook. The Sea Wolves, great name, not a great team. A game that I'm very excited for, the North Texas Mean Green take on the South Alabama Jaguars. Two Texas high school football players here, Eric Morris coaching the North Texas Mean Green, and Major Applewhite taking on Major Applewhite.
I'm going to stop you there. Major Applewhite didn't play in Texas, son.
Whatever. He played at Texas, even though Chris Sims was better.
Oh, man. Brent Musburger is going to.
That's an inside joke.
That's an inside joke. We'll talk about that in the conclusion.
One day we will tell everyone what that means. Right after we pay for the cameo. Anyway, Major Applewhite didn't play at Texas. I was wrong. But he is a Texas football legend in college there. Eric Morris, Texas collegiate football legend, played at Texas Tech as a wide receiver. Again, I think it's going to be a good game. Air Raid versus Spread Coast. Two different ideas about football that we get to see clash. I do think that North Texas has a little bit more bullets in the gun. Chandler Morris comes in from TCU, and I think he leads the Mean Green to an exciting game. And we'll talk about that more at our games of the week.
Yep.
Central Arkansas takes on Arkansas State. The Bears don't have anything for the Red Wolves. Red Wolves win. Nevada, Troy. Hey, Nevada showed up against SMU. They may have lost, but they really showed some fight, some heart there. Jeff Choate's got them ready to roll and ready to play some hard nose. They run the ball a lot, so they're gonna play some hard nose football. However, Troy's a better team.
You don't have to look for them; you'll find them.
Yeah, or they'll find you.
Yeah.
Southern Miss, I'm not gonna make that joke. Southern Miss, the Golden Eagles take on Kentucky. I
hear they have a really nice volleyball court there.
I think they do. Anyway, the Wildcats pull away a win there with their coach, who was going to leave them for A&M, and then Billy Lucci had something to say about that. So,
hey, yeah. Kentucky's got a new coach this year, right?
Same as the old coach.
Yeah.
Old Soviet saying, if you're a poli-sci major, you get the new boss, same as the old boss joke there. Georgia State takes on Georgia Tech. I don't think Georgia Tech gets upset by a Georgia State team in almost a quiet rebuild. They got a new coach. New quarterback.
The line on this game is only 20.5, so.
Only 20.5. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Georgia State covers. Just the way Georgia Tech plays, it doesn't lend itself to massive blowout wins. 21 is probably the max that they'll win a game by this year, unless they play an FCS team. Then, it depends on the quality of that FCS team that they play. Grambling takes on Louisiana. I'm a big fan of HBCU football. However, Grambling is not one of the top HBCUs this year, and I think the Raging Cajuns beat them down. And then finally, James Madison takes on Charlotte. I'm a big fan of Biff Poggi, but Charlotte's apparently be without 50% of their starters on this game. So I got to go with the Dukes.
All right, we're going to go over to you kind of have what's called the Bible Belt, son. We're going to hop over to the other side of the other side of the Bible Belt, the SEC, the hated Southeastern Conference. And the Southeastern Conference hates its own players, or its own members now, too.
They've always hated each other.
You got two new members. I'm just hoping Texas can make the Tennessee's fight or the Alabama fight song. I mean, I'm excited.
The what is it? The on a Southern Saturday night, they're in the
Yeah.
extra lyrics.
Yeah.
We can't recite any of those. This is a family
No,
show.
no. But Texas
It's a
and
family
Oklahoma
show.
Texas and Oklahoma are coming into the SEC.
I was introduced to those extra lyrics by someone named Cam. He was from Scotland, and we played rugby together. Great
Yeah.
times.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah. You know what? He couldn't give a hell of a beating, but he could take one.
surprised. I was surprised. Now I knew he couldn't get knocked out because Scottish.
All right.
Anyway,
We're gonna save. You got a couple games you got to save out of this one. So.
Yeah, I know.
All right.
I'll just say they're existing, and we'll get to them in our games of the week.
Let's get
Arkansas
rock and rolling.
Peanut Butter takes on. I know it's our Pine Bluff. Takes on Arkansas. That's a win for the Pigs. Murray State Racers take on on Missouri.
That's right.
That's a win for the Tigers. Temple takes on Oklahoma. I like Stan Drayton a lot. They're not upsetting Oklahoma in the Palace on the Prairie. It's not happening. And then at 11 a.m., Clemson takes on Georgia. We'll cover that one later. 11 a.m., Virginia Tech travels to Nash Vegas to take on the Van Vanderbilt Commodores. I'm going to go with the Hokies there. A lot of Enter Sandman's going to be played in Blacksburg. That's it. I knew what I was talking about. Chattanooga takes on Tennessee. The Mocs are going to do nothing, and Tennessee's going to score 70 points. The U takes on Florida. And then also at 2:30, the Colorado State Rams travel to a stadium to be about 8,000 degrees to take on the University of Texas Longhorns. For that game,
it's only supposed to be maybe in the upper 80s, and it's gonna rain.
Yeah, except DK. We both know that DKR somehow is the surface of the sun.
All right, so DKR is across the highway from Dishvalk Field, and the hottest place on earth I've ever been to is Dishvalk Field, and the coldest place I've ever been to on earth is Dishvalk Field.
It's like the place God forgot.
Oh my God, it's like a hole in the universe.
If you look for anything to look for in this game, I'm not gonna give a deep analysis. This is just some pass rush out of the University of Texas Longhorns. Torrey Horton will be a name to watch. He should have a decent day. Now, I as a Texas homer, gonna be admitting here, I don't want him to have a very good day, but I do want to see some plays out of one of the best G5 wide receivers. Just hopefully no touchdowns.
There you go.
And Virginia Tech, Kyron Drones. You should see some big plays out of Kyron Drones. He's an exciting player and a dark horse Heisman candidate. A very Michael Vick type. He's not nearly as fast, but he's much bigger and stronger. So it's almost like a Sam Ehlinger type of player.
All right. Does that cover the SEC?
For me. And then Eastern Kentucky or Old Dominion takes on South Carolina. I talked about Eastern Kentucky takes on Mississippi State. Blowout win for the Bulldogs. I was going to call them the Rebels. That'd be wrong. Western Kentucky takes on Alabama. I take the over. If I was a betting man, I would take the over. Both those teams are going to score a lot of points that day. Furman takes on Ole Miss. The Rebs got this one. Notre Dame A&M, game of the week. Alabama A&M and Auburn, the War Eagle. Southern Miss, Kentucky, I already talked about it. And then finally, another game of the week, USC taking on LSU in Las Vegas.
That's an interesting matchup. I'm kind of excited about this USC-LSU game.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's really going to be a really great game. Oh, we can see it. The USC homer. He can't talk, but he's giving some sign language. He's throwing his gang signs.
I'll have my words for that game for our game of the week here.
All right. Well, let's not miss words. Let's just get to it. Game of the week. All right. We're going to start at number 7. The number 7 game of the week. The North Texas. The Screaming Eagles fighting Mean Green. Taking on South Alabama at 4 p.m. in Mobile, Alabama at Hancock Whitney Stadium. USA is favored by -6.5. So that'd be South Alabama. What you think Major Applewhite is on upset alert right here in his first game as a head coach at South Alabama?
I would say so, yes. North Texas retained a lot of their offensive talent, and they improved in the portal with getting Chandler Morris there to play quarterback. Now, South Alabama didn't lose a ton of talent. However, they did lose Kane Womack, their head coach. And now Major Applewhite, he had an opportunity before as Houston's head coach, and it didn't end exactly how everybody wanted. I think they went 6-6, 6-7. They got blown up by Army. But I will say that this should be a good offensive showdown between two teams. Now, South Alabama will be a lot more balanced if that matters to you. 200 rushing yards, 200 passing yards type stuff. While North Texas will be a much more 400 yards through the air, maybe 50 on the ground. But as Mike Leach always said, the only balance I care about is that my scoreboard has more balance than their scoreboard.
I'm sorry, it's 5.5 for 5.5 for South Alabama.
Yeah, I would say I expect North Texas to win outright. I wouldn't be surprised I want South Alabama to win as a Sun Belt, straight up Sun Belt homer. Coin that term, patent pending. Anyway, so that's my take on that game.
All right, number 6. Drum roll. I don't have drum roll on here, I don't think.
I can't.
All right. The UNLV Running Rebels travel to TDECU Stadium in Houston, Texas to take on the Houston Cougars. This game is going to actually be kind of close. 2.5 points. 2.5 point favorite for the Cougs. Give me what you think, Hunter. Lock on this game.
Total rushing yards over 400. I'll take that right there. The go-go offense from UNLV run by former Pittsburgh and Texas assistant coach Brennan Marion is an exciting form of offense that I personally love to watch. It incorporates a ton of different elements of football, some much older than people give it credit for. He even runs a little bit of Notre Dame box. It's actually kind of fun to watch in a sick kind of way. They run the ball out. They throw the ball out. They run a lot of plays. It's almost veer and shoot in its philosophy, but not in its execution at all. I expect a lot of running and a lot of points. I would say this is going to be a 42-35 for the Houston Cougars.
There you go. All right, the number 5 game of the week. The number 7 Fighting Irish of Notre Dame travel to Kyle Field in College Station, Texas to take on the number 20 Texas A&M Fighting Aggies. All right. A&M's favored by 3 right now. Oh, you're hating on
I know
the
a lot of
Ags.
A&M fans, personal friends, a very close friend of mine went to A&M. But I grew up in a half Texas, half Notre Dame homer house where it was a conflicted cheering on Texas and Notre Dame at the same time. I have a beanbag right here that also belongs to that guy that has a leprechaun on it. I'm going to go with the Fighting Irish. I know there's a lot of excitement about A&M's defense and Mike Elko doing this, that, and the other. But Notre Dame, while they do have some freshmen playing offensive line, I think that their total talent, their defense is better. And it should be enough so that while Nick Scourton will probably have a big game on the defensive line, I also think Notre Dame has the ability to go and say, hey, that's great that you're going to rush the passer. We'll just run the ball right at you, which something that A&M has not done well to stop. And even under Mike Elko as a defensive coordinator, they were good against the pass. They struggled against the run sometimes. A lot of teams figured out how to play Duke last year is to run the ball right at them, especially if you're on a zone read concept and you isolate the pass rushers. So I think Mike Denbrock sees that again and says, hey, I can replicate those results. Riley Leonard's a great quarterback. He played against that Duke defense. He played against a Mike Elko defense every day in practice. He knows what to look for. I like Notre Dame to win this game. It's going to be a low-scoring affair, 27-20 Notre Dame.
All right. The number 4 game of the week. This is going to hurt Jude to not be able to chime in on your prediction here. The number 23 Trojans of the University of Southern California travel to beautiful Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas, Nevada on Sunday at 6:30 p.m. to take on the number 13 LSU Fighting Tigers, Bayou Bengals. I know who I'm taking in this, and this is not going to be a popular pick amongst the masses, but amongst the panelists, it might be. LSU's favorite.
So know how much of a Lincoln Riley homer I am. I love offense. I love what Lincoln Riley has done to the air raid, turning into his own little special power raid, as some people like to call it. They use a lot of wing T running concepts, a lot of interesting passing concepts, and Miller Moss now has spent 2 full years in that system, learning under it, marinating. He beat out Malachi Nelson, who we found out actually kind of sucks football. I shouldn't say that. Anyway, and then he also beat out Jaden Mayava to keep his starting job. Now, Jaden Mayava will not stay in the wings long if Miller Moss does not produce. Garrett Nussmeier has waited in the wings for a long time there at LSU. And while LSU will certainly produce more great wide receivers, they're unproven as of right now. And Brian Kelly has not done well to win starting games in his LSU tenure or even in his Notre Dame tenure. Brian Kelly's kind of a 50-50 hitter there on opening games. This game is in Vegas. It's significantly closer to Los Angeles than it is to Baton Rouge. So with all that in mind, a brand new USC defense, it pains me to say, but what V is for victory?
Jude, show us the V for victory.
There you
go. Fight on.
It's
All
going to be
right,
a
the number-
high-scoring game, 45-42 Trojans.
Oh, so you're saying that the Trojans win outright? Nice, I like it. All right. Number 3 game of the week, the number 19. The Hurricanes from the University of Miami travel to the Swamp to take on Florida at 2:30 p.m. Now, Miami's favored by 2.5. Hunter, give me the most interesting fact about this game.
36 years, or 38. Florida has not lost a home game to open the season. That streak
There you go.
will
Here.
end. Cam Ward, Texas high school football player from Columbia High School in the Houston area, played at University of Colorado, where went to Washington State, has proven to be an excellent quarterback, and Mario Cristobal get their first marquee win as the Miami Hurricanes roll into the Swamp. And for the first time in 36 years, the Gators do not start the season 1-0 at home.
All right, the number 2 game of the week, the Penn State Nittany Lions travel to Milan Puskar Stadium. And I will say this for Penn State, the greatest thing that's happened is they're playing this game at 11 a.m.
That is a massive help for Penn State. Drew Aller leads a refreshed offense with Andy Kotelnicki from Kansas coming over to bring a more inspired running game and pass RPO game. The defense looks to be as good as it's ever been at Penn State under James Franklin. They have a lot of good things going for them. However, as a Texas fan, as somebody who has watched plenty of West Virginia games, it seems like there's no place harder to play than a place full of people who eat roadkill to celebrate. I'm going with Garrett
burn
Green,
couches.
Neil Braun, and the West Virginia Mountaineers.
All right. And the number 1 game of the week. No running, no hiding. Number 14, Clemson. It's going to play number 1 Georgia at, what do they call this? The Georgia Dome? What is this thing called now? The Georgia
where
Dome.
are the Falcons
ABC,
playing?
number 11. It's 11 a.m. on ABC. The Dogs are a 13.5-point favorite. Just make it short and sweet on this one.
I mean, this is kind of a litmus test for the future of Dabo Swinney and Clemson. They don't necessarily have to win this game, but they have to not get demolished. Or, we could be talking about a future where a 2-time national championship head coach is no longer at the school that he has rebuilt. For Kirby Smart and the Dogs, go out and win the game. As much as I want to pick Clemson, I like Dabo Swinney a lot. I like Cade Klubnik. I like their offense. I like their defense. I just can't do it. Georgia hasn't lost a home game to somebody not named Nick Saban in a long time, or hasn't lost a regular season game to somebody not named Nick Saban since 2020. I don't see it changing. I'm rolling with the Dogs.
All right, let's wrap this up for your segment this week. Give me a 1 bold prediction for this week.
Garrett Green rushes for 200 yards as a quarterback.
All right, give me a single game shout out. You got 1 game you want to shout out?
Single game shout out. I mean, I feel like I covered a lot of good games. However, a game to watch, because if you like to watch teams collapse in front of your eyes, it's very possible. Florida State and Boston College on Monday.
Oh, no.
That's a shout out to our missing crew member, Lindsay. He's a noted Boston College homer, as I tell lies here on the internet.
All right, and we're bringing back the worst. We're bringing back the worst part of wide right college football, and that's the game of the week. And we're not talking about this week. We're talking about the game of the WEAK. Hunter, what's your game? You're not guessing what I think the game of the week is this year. What is your game?
My game of the week. There's so many good options. because just like God intended, shitty teams exist. I'm going to go with the wonderful – I just had it in front of me and I lost it and I didn't memorize it because I'm an unprofessional. Indiana State Sycamores take on the Purdue Boilermakers. While Purdue should win this game convincingly, I watched the team last year and I was disgusted. The Indiana State Sycamores aren't a particularly FCS power by any measure. So I expect a lot of bad football. I expect Hudson Card to look decent, but if you're a Purdue fan, I mean, you should hope you lose this game so you can fire Ryan Waters faster.
What was the nickname of the kid that played basketball at Indiana State? What they call him?
The Jude can help me out with this one. Can you go ahead and unmute him? I think he knows exactly.
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, or what was his name?
No, I think it was
the kid from Indiana State. Jude, you remember what the kid's name was for basketball?
That chunky kid with glasses?
Yeah.
Yeah, wasn't he like
his name was Robbie Avila, I think was.
Yeah, it was Robbie. That was his name. Last name was Avila.
Yeah.
But it was a play on words with what was it with Kareem? Wasn't it with like
It was Kareem, like Cream, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Like whipped cream.
Oh.
I was thinking of one of the greatest NBA players of all time.
That's what I was thinking you were going with. When he said Jude could help me, I thought for sure he was talking about Larry Bird. Larry Joe Bird.
I went to choke with Larry Legend. I was, just being a idiot. All right, Hunter, that's gonna wrap up your segment. I'm gonna bring on Jude. I'm gonna make you sit here and suffer while he picks against the Texas State Bobcats. I'm kidding. He probably won't. All right, Jude's gonna cover the Big Ten and the Mountain West, and we're gonna get started right now. All right, Jude, how you doing today?
Oh, I'm great, man. How are you?
Excellent. I appreciate you coming and breaking away. And this was supposed to be filmed like 3 days ago. And Jude's been a sport. He's come in at last minute and helped out. And Lindsay, I knew it was going to be almost impossible because Lindsay worked late on Wednesday nights, and I can't do tomorrow. I just can't. And I'll talk to everybody another date about why. But for right now, this is how we're going to do it tonight. The next time we do one of these, I'm going to try to do individual segments and just string them together. That way you can watch them with the guys. This is kind of a last-minute deal, but I just want to thank Jude a lot before we get started. All right, Jude, salute to the service academies. And, Jude, you have one of my favorite service academies as well, and that's the Air Force Academy. And they're taking on Merrimack this weekend. And I want you to tell me why Merrimack's going to be even close in this game.
Because when the game starts, it is 0-0. That's about it. The Air Force, Air Force should run all over them, and that's what they do. They run the football.
Yeah, they got a coach that specializes in ass whoopings, and I think he's going to deliver one. So
yeah.
Yep. All right, you go with that bold proclamation. Air Force is gonna.
Yeah, Air Force. I believe I heard you say earlier that all service academies were, 30-plus point favorites, and I have no problems saying that Air Force will cover that.
Yeah, that's gonna be, and all the service academies play on CBS Sports Network. So if anybody wants to watch CBS Sports Network, it's always gonna have your service academies, except for the Commander-in-Chief game or Army Navy, which will be on CBS. But I like CBS Sports for putting that on. All right, Jude. Let's roll into conference breakdown. You want to do that? No. We got to do winners and losers. Got to do winners and losers.
Okay.
Did you get to watch some college football last weekend?
I did. I did get to watch some college football last weekend.
So instead of starting with a loser, I'm going to be positive because you're always positive with me. Give me a winner from last week, dude.
Big winner from last week?
A big winner from last week.
How about let's say Georgia Tech, man, with the rebuilding program they've had for the last couple of years to smack number 10 Florida State. And I don't know if you want to call it smack them, but they did march down the field and kick a game-winning field goal in the last play of the game. That's a big ego booster for that program, and I look forward to seeing them play the rest of the season. Hoping to see them get at least 7-8 wins, like Hunter said. I was probably on the 6-7 win mark, but I think I can probably say 7-8 now. After I saw what they did, if they play that well, and I do not see them having a lapse this weekend.
All right. Give me a big loser from last week, Jude.
Big loser. How about New Mexico?
Oh
Losing to,
man, I was saving that one. I was gonna go there. I was like, man. Now,
man,
to be
that was
fair,
rough.
the team they lost to is a perennial powerhouse in the FCS, perennial contender. But New Mexico paid like $360,000 to get their butts kicked in the fourth
Yeah,
quarter.
and weren't they also like a 30-point favorite or something like that?
I don't know. I didn't. I don't remember. That was last week.
Man, but yeah, that was watching that game.
That
I
was
was just like,
oof. And
wow.
they did it to themselves. They could have iced the game. They did it to themselves.
Yep.
Just couldn't get out of their own way. So that's where Bronco Mendenhall needs to fix. He needs to teach them how to be winners and not losers. So that's why they fall into the biggest loser of the weekend. All right, Jude, let's get down to some conference breakdowns. We're gonna go ahead and roll over to the Mountain West Conference
All right.
because I always like to start with the I hate saying the lesser conference, but I always like starting with the lesser conference than starting with the big conference, right? The Mountain West is not a small conference, but we're going to roll into it. There's one game we're not going to cover because it'll be covered in our games to watch. And we're going to Saturday, or last Saturday, no, I'm sorry, Thursday, we're going to start off with Sac State at San Jose State at 9 p.m. on True TV. It's from CEF CU Stadium in San Jose, California. San Jose State is a 3.5-point favorite, Jude. What do you got on this one?
Well, I'm going to go out on a limb and make this pick for our friend Joey Preciado and say
I love it. I love this.
Sacramento State's going to upset the Spartans in San Jose this weekend.
If they do, Joey's got to come on the show.
Yeah, absolutely.
Got to get Joey on the show.
We got to get him on if they win that game.
All right, Colorado State's going to travel to number 4 Texas at 2:30 p.m. on Saturday to take on the Longhorns. Texas is favored by 32. I don't see Texas covering that, but they could or they could. It just depends. I think the weather will kind of depend a little bit on that outcome. What do you think on that one?
Yeah, it's rough to pick against that spread, either way. But I do know Texas is going to win the game.
Yep. All right, we're going to head on over to Allen E. Paulson Stadium in Statesboro, Georgia, where the Boise State Broncos are going to take on the Georgia Southern Eagles. Now, Hunter picked this game earlier. Boise State's a 13-point favorite. What do you think on this one? You can think Boise State's going to cover?
I think that game's going to be a lot closer than 13 points. So I don't think they'll cover, but I do think they'll win because, as Hunter said, they've got the bigger horses.
All right, UNLV in Houston, you're going to check in you're going to call in our ones to watch segment.
Okay.
Now, next we got the Wolfpack from Nevada, who really shot themselves in the foot last week versus they're traveling to Troy at Veterans Memorial Stadium in Troy, Alabama. Troy's a 9-point favorite. Do you see Nevada being able to create any kind of magic in this game, or are they going to start 0-2?
Not really. I believe they're going to start 0-2, and it's hard for me to pick against any team that's called the Trojans. So,
love it. All right, Fresno State travels to the Big House at 6:30 p.m. on NBC to take on the number 9 Michigan Wolverines. Are the Michigan Wolverines? They're favored by 20.5. Do you think they're going to look past Fresno State at all for that week 2 matchup versus Texas?
yeah, I absolutely think they are going to look past Fresno State. I think they're game planning for Texas already. I think it's going to bite them in the butt. I think they squeak it out, but I would take Michigan and take Fresno State to cover that spread.
Ooh, I like it. He's a gambling man. All right. From Clarence T.C. Ching Athletics Complex and the future home of someone I know, Honolulu, Hawaii, the UCLA Bruins travel to take on the Hawaii Rainbow Warriors at 6:30 p.m. on CBS or Paramount Plus. UCLA's a 14-point favorite. Can the Rainbow Warriors, can they hang with UCLA? UCLA's completely rebuilt from last year. They're not even the same looking team.
Yeah, UCLA is a completely different team than what we've seen in the past. But considering that Hawaii totally blew my can't miss lock of the week this past weekend, I'm going to take UCLA to cover that.
All
But I
right.
will rebound with my. And UCLA is not a good team, but I'll take UCLA to cover that 14 points.
All
And
right.
that is a hint as to what I will predict as a certain game later on.
All right. From Snapdragon Stadium in beautiful San Diego, California, at 7 p.m. on True TV, the Texas A&M Commerce Lions take on the San Diego State Aztecs. Ask me how I know that. I'll tell you. San Diego State is
Wow.
a 33.5-point favorite. Who you got in this game?
I got San Diego State, but I'd like to know how you know that.
All right. Because I was the coach and president of the one-time great Hill Country Cowboys organization, and the Hill Country Cowboys have had multiple Texas A&M Commerce Lions on their roster.
Oh,
So,
very cool.
everybody knows that Luis Perez played for Texas A&M Commerce, and his backup quarterback was a kid named Preston Wheeler, who I wasn't his direct coach, but I was the coach of his little brother. So that's one, and then the other one is a current linebacker on Texas A&M Commerce. His name is Wesley York, and I was a coach. I was one of his coaches for a long time, and Wesley and I are very tight. So if you see Dub out there, give him a thumbs up. Texas A&M Commerce travel and take on San Diego State. So good luck to the Lions, but I don't think they have anything for the Aztecs.
Yeah, I don't think they do either.
All right. Now we're going with Robert Morris. Maybe they're related to Philip Morris. Travels to Utah State to take on the Utah State Aggies. There's no TV on this game. It is none. No TV. 7 p.m. from Maverick Stadium in Logan, Utah. And Utah State's a 31-point favorite. I think Utah State wins by probably 60.
Yeah, the Aggies will cover that spread. They should easily defeat them.
Yep.
To
All
be
right.
Robert
We
Morris.
have, man, we're talking about losers. New Mexico is traveling to number 21 Arizona with the new head coach, but the same quarterback at 9:30 p.m. on ESPN from Arizona Stadium in Tucson, Arizona. Arizona's a 31-point favorite. Does Noah Fafita score 31 points throwing and running? Does he?
Yes,
Does he account for 60% of the offense this week?
31 points throwing and running, two touch. Yeah. He'll get that.
All right.
And Arizona will cover. New Mexico. Wow, man. After last week, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they won by 50 or
I
lost by
mean,
50. Should I say?
New Mexico could be up by 30, and I would probably still think Arizona has a chance.
Yeah.
All right. We're going to get to the final Mountain West game of the week, and that's Wyoming at Arizona State. Give me just a second. It's from Mountain America Stadium in Tempe, Arizona. Arizona State's a 7-point favorite.
Yeah, Arizona State is one of those teams that you can never predict what they're going to do. You know, they'll play great against SC and then they'll look horrible against Cal. So it's hard to say. You know, they're a 7-point favorite. I'd probably lean towards Arizona State to win, but I'm not comfortable picking, the over, or not the over, but the -7.
Yeah, sorry about that. As
No,
my editing skills get better, I'll edit out the coughing segments for me.
put it in the duck. What?
Whack, whack, whack. I know. All right, Jude. Tomorrow, Big Ten Conference football starts. What do you think? You excited?
Yes. Oh, I'm more excited for a non. Well, they're all pretty much non-league games, so I'm really excited for the game on Sunday.
You and I both are. All right. We're gonna kind of speed read through the gimme games, and then we'll
All
hit
right.
the big ones. So we got Howard at Rutgers, 5 p.m. on
Uh,
Big Ten Network from Piscataway, New Jersey. Rutgers 36.5-point favorite.
Take Rutgers.
Yep. Eastern Illinois at Illinois, 8 p.m. on the Big Ten Network from Champaign. Illinois is a 28-point favorite.
Yeah, take the Illini.
All right, here we go. We got an interesting game. North Carolina at Minnesota at 7 p.m. on Fox from Huntington Bank Stadium in Minneapolis, Minnesota. UNC's only a 2-point favorite, dude.
Yeah, Minnesota. This game's in Minnesota, you said?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's going to be a tough game. I'm going to take the upset. I'm going to take Minnesota to win outright.
Home field advantage. All right. On Friday, August 30th. At 6 p.m. on the Big Ten Network from Spartan Stadium in East Lansing, Michigan. The Spartans take on the Florida Atlantic Owls. Michigan State is a 14-point favorite. What do you got?
Michigan State. Michigan State should handle all their non-conference games this season, so I'm going to take Michigan State. But I don't like them in the conference, especially as the conference got tougher with all the Pac-12 teams coming over.
All right. We got a near and dear team to Jude's heart playing in this next one on Friday. Western Michigan's traveling to Camp Randall to take on those Wisconsin Badgers. 8 p.m. on FS1. Wisconsin's a 23.5-point favorite.
Take Wisconsin, but don't they're not going to cover that spread. They're not going to blow them out. They're going to win the game, but they're not going to. Would you say 23.5?
23.5.
23.5. Yeah, I could see him winning by 3 touchdowns. That's just not, blow up. Super big blowouts are not Wisconsin style. So I would take Wisconsin, but not the 21 points.
All right, we're going to cover Penn State and West Virginia and the ones to watch. But next we have Illinois State traveling to Iowa to take on the Hawkeyes. 11 a.m. Big Ten Network on Saturday. Kinnick Stadium they have a great tradition at this. You can't hate Kinnick Stadium or Iowa. They have just such a cool celebration where they wave, everybody waves to the kids in Children's Hospital. Iowa's favored by 22.5 in this game. Does Iowa score 22.5 points in this game?
How can they be favored by 22.5 when they're predicted to score probably 9 points? That's wild. Now to take Iowa to win, but I'm looking at like at a 15-6 game or something like that.
All right. Then we got at 11 a.m. on Fox Sports 1. UConn's traveling to Maryland to take on the Terrapins. Maryland's the 20.5-point favorite.
You know what? There's two things they do in Maryland: blue crabs and football. Take Maryland to cover that.
All right. The aforementioned Indiana State Sycamores taking on the Purdue Boilermakers at 11 a.m. on the Big Ten Network. Purdue's a 33-point favorite. What you got?
Purdue's going to win the game. I haven't, be honest with you, haven't done enough research on the game to predict the score, but Purdue will win the game.
All right. We got Akron's traveling to number 2 Ohio State at 2:30 p.m. on CBS. Ohio State's a 48.5-point favorite, and they'll probably win by 70.
Yeah, take Ohio State to cover for sure.
All right. FIU's traveling to Indiana at 2:30 p.m. on the Big Ten Network. Indiana's a 22-point favorite. They're not going to be favored in a lot of games this year, but they're going to be favored in this one.
Yeah, Indiana will win the game, but they're not going to cover the 22 points. No way.
All right.
They're just a horrible team.
All right, I'm going to give you the next 2 in a row, or I'm going to give you the next 2 games in a row, and I'm just going to have you pick the winners because I can't do that. I absolutely can't do that. I have to talk to you about Northwestern, believe it or not. All right, we have the UTEP Miners traveling to Nebraska at 2:30 p.m. on Fox. Take on I think there's going to be a sleeper team in there, the Nebraska Cornhuskers. Nebraska's a 27.5-point favorite.
I like Nebraska. I really hope you said that they're a sleeper pick for the season. Is that what you're thinking?
Yeah.
I'm hoping they turn their fortunes around. I like to see Nebraska. All the traditional powers, man. It's always better when they're playing well. Especially since that's excuse the motorcycle in the background, but especially they've got take Nebraska to cover.
It's always better when blue bloods are good. You know what I mean?
Yes.
When blue blood programs are good, college football is always better. All right. So I think they're the Red Hawks of Miami of Ohio take on the Northwestern Wildcats at 2:30 p.m. on the Big Ten Network. Got to remember last year, Northwestern got a brand new coach, won 8 games, and this all happened right before the season started. Northwestern's only a 3-point favorite.
That surprises me. I look at Northwestern to be a decent team this year. They're going to win 6, 7. They'll be bowl eligible, which is not saying much because everybody's pretty much bowl eligible these days. But yeah, take Northwestern, take the points. Give
All
the
right.
point.
We have the Vandals from Idaho traveling to Otsa Stadium in Eugene, Oregon to take on the number 3 Oregon Ducks at 6:30 p.m. on the Big Ten Network. Oregon's a 43.5-point favorite. They might as well be a 400-point favorite on this one.
Yeah, until Oregon starts playing some traditional Big Ten teams, take them to cover.
Yep. And then we've already covered the Fresno State Michigan game. We've already covered the UCLA Hawaii game. Now it's time to talk about the. I almost want to. If I'd have done things differently, I would have played football. I would have gone to this school. I would have gone to Weaver State, and I would have gotten to play against Washington. I'm kidding, but Weaver State plays Washington at 10 p.m. on the Big Ten Network from Husky Stadium in Seattle, Washington. Washington is a 27-point favorite.
I would take Washington to cover that for sure,
All right.
even
All right,
without
dude.
Michael Penix.
Let's get to the ones to watch. You ready to talk about the ones to watch?
Yes, sir.
All right. We're going to start with game number 7. North Texas at South Alabama at 4 p.m. from Mobile, Alabama, Hancock Whitney Stadium. South Alabama's a 5.5-point favorite as of the time we filmed. Who you got?
Man, I like South Alabama. I like their coach. He was great when he played at Texas. So I'm going to definitely go with Major Applewhite and South Alabama.
All right. Number 6. UNLV travels to Houston, Texas to take on those pesky Houston Cougars at 6 p.m. on Fox Sports 1. Houston's a 2.5-point favorite. Do the Rebs get the upstate win on the road?
Yes, they do. I'll take UNLV to pull off the upset on the road. So take UNLV outright.
All right. Number 5 game of the week. I know who you're picking in this game. I could feel it in my bones. The number 7 Notre Dame Fighting Irish travel to College Station to take on the number 20 Texas A&M Aggies. This is going to be on ABC. A&M's a 3-point favorite. Who you got in this one, Jude?
I'm going to take the Fighting Irish to stay undefeated
What?
until they
No way.
until they play USC.
No way. Jude picking Notre Dame.
Yeah.
All right. The number 4 game of the week. Number 23. Trojans of University of Southern California travel to beautiful Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas, Nevada to take on the Bayou Bengals at LSU. LSU is a 4-point favorite. Jude, what do you got?
Of course, I like the Trojans, and I think their defense has gotten a bit stronger. Not strong enough, but I like a shootout. I think it's the last team to have the ball. I'm hoping that team is going to be SC, and I see USC winning something like 48-45 or 52-49, something like that. Be a high scoring game. And then the reason it's going to be,
I got a bold prediction for you coming up. I'm gonna give it to you. My bold prediction coming up.
All right, I have a bold prediction too, and that's part of the reason why I have it a shootout.
All right. The number 3 game of the week, the number 19 Miami Hurricanes travel to the Swamp to take on those Gators from Florida at 2:30 p.m. Miami's a 2.5-point favorite. What you got on this one?
And Miami just doesn't do it for me. They never do. They are always overrated. They always lose games that they should win. I'm going to take Florida to keep that, season opening home winning streak going.
All right, I like it. We can't all have the same picks. Remember, if we do, we couldn't win. All right. The number 2 game of the week, the number 8 Penn State Nittany Lions travel to Milan Puskar Stadium to take on those Mountaineers from West Virginia at 11 a.m. Penn State's an 8-point favorite. It's not really a long road game because Morgantown and Happy Valley are not that far apart.
I did not know that the Mountaineers ate roadkill to celebrate. So knowing that, I'm going to be like, wow, how can you pick against them? I'm going to pick West Virginia to upset Penn State
All right.
outright.
All right. West Virginia's gonna they're gonna be burning the couches in Morgantown, is what you're gonna say. All right, then number one game of the week. The Clemson Tigers travel to take on the Georgia Bulldogs from the Atlanta Dome or Georgia Dome or whatever they call that thing there in that Mercedes-Benz Dome in Atlanta, Georgia at 11 a.m. on ABC. The Dogs are a 13.5 point favorite. What do you think, Jude?
I don't think Dabble's in the hot seat quite yet, but I also don't think Dabble's going to hang close in this game. I think Georgia, Kirby Smart, man, he's just built a program that is, man, very tough to compete with. I honestly think they probably would have won the college football playoff last year had they gotten in. But that being said, I'm going to take Georgia State to win, and I think you said the spread's 14. I'm looking for them to win by 21 at least.
All right, there you go. The ones to watch. All right, Jude, let's wrap it up. I know you got some stuff to do. Give me a bold proclamation. What do you have for a bold proclamation?
Bold proclamation. Mighty Miller Moss will tie his career high in touchdown passes, which was 6 against Louisville last year in the Holiday Bowl, as he leads the USC Trojans to victory against LSU.
Right.
6 touchdowns by Mighty Miller Moss. That's my bold proclamation.
Give me a single game shout out for this week, Jude.
A single game shout out?
Yep.
I went out on a limb and surprised everyone and picked Notre Dame. I'm thinking that's going to be a really good game. And that's a good one of the games to watch, man.
Right.
I like it.
I like it. All right, last game. Last piece of business, Jude. The game of the week. And I'm talking about the WEAK.
The game of the week is going to be the lowly UCLA Bruins taking on the Rainbow Warriors from Hawaii. And that's pretty much enough said.
I love it. All right, everybody. That's cool. Jude Santa Cruz. Some of y'all know him as Power Stroke Jude. Check him out over there at the Power Stroke Jude YouTube channel. Jude, appreciate it. You gonna hang out or you gotta go?
Oh man, my son's walking out of his practice right now. We're gonna have to hit the road, and I'm gonna be driving. So this is gonna be it for me. I will be in the chat tomorrow night, hopefully, if not Friday. But
yeah. We'll see
just
how this
remember.
goes.
Let me say my outro. You know, we are fight on. We are SC, and V is for victory. You can't spell SEC without S and C. Let's go Trojans.
All right.
Night, guys.
Good deal. Appreciate it, Jude.
Yep. See you guys.
All right. We got to get through Lindsay's segment. I didn't realize, we took time here. So
Yeah.
we got to get on the move. You got to turn your volume up a little bit, Hunter. Oh, there you go. I can hear you. Yep, I can hear you now. All right. So Lindsay's Salute to Service game. They don't play till September 7th, along with one of mine. So we won't have a pick on that one. Winners and losers. We don't need to worry about that. Let's get into Lindsay's conference breakdowns real quick.
All right. So rolling with the American Conference. Just gonna really quickly speed through this. I don't want to go and Alcorn State takes on UAB at 7 p.m. on Thursday. Look for the Fighting Trent Dovers to win, cover that spread. Southeast Louisiana takes on Tulane. The Tulane Green Wave brought in a new coach from Troy. He's a great coach. I expect him to kind of keep things similar there. 10-win season outlook for Tulane. They win this game. Tulsa takes on Northwestern State. This is a game of the week WEAK candidate. I don't expect much out of either of these teams, except that maybe want to turn the television off. All right, on Friday, August 30th, this is a salute to service game. Lehigh, I don't know, takes on Army. The Black Knights of the Hudson, great nickname. Not my favorite branch for obvious reasons. Wins this game. Stinking Temple, Oklahoma. I don't know why I mentioned that one earlier. Oklahoma wins. FAU, Michigan State.
Yep. FAU, Michigan State.
Yep. FAU does not win. However, I do think they cover because that's a Tom Herman thing to do.
Bucknell at Navy.
Already covered. Kennesaw State at UTSA. Excuse that. Kennesaw State, UTSA. Kennesaw State will not cover. UTSA wins by 28 points. North Texas, South Alabama, already covered. Norfolk State at East Carolina. Game of the weekend at WAK. East Carolina wins. Beth Union Cookman at South Florida. South Florida wins by about 70. Sam Houston State at Rice. A battle of Houston area schools. Rice wins. North Alabama at Memphis. Memphis wins. And James Madison at Charlotte. We already talked about.
Lindsay's gonna have the shortest segment on earth. All right.
What?
We're gonna get.
What? What do you want me to do?
I
This
don't
isn't my
know.
job to break down the American. This is Lindsay's job.
All right. Let's move over to the ACC.
All right. West Carolina Catamounts just lost their offensive coordinator in the offseason. NC State comes in ranked number 24 with the CFP eyes. The Wolfpack cover this 32.5-point spread, crushing the Western Carolina Catamounts. NCANT, like I say constantly, huge HBCU fan. However, they do not pull off the win against the Demon Deacons of Wake Forest in their slow mesh. I see Wake Forest covering this 35-point spread. North Carolina at Minnesota. I personally will take North Carolina. I don't know what Lindsay would. I unfortunately was not able to get contact.
Lindsay took North Carolina.
All right, so Mac Brown leads the Tar Heels into Golden Gopher TDECU Bank Stadium and wins this game. Maybe it's not
Bank Stadium in
Huntington. Whatever, it's a bank.
TDECU Stadium's in Houston, son.
Whatever.
All right. Alon travels to Duke.
Duke wins.
All right. TCU at Stanford. We got to kind of talk about this game for a second.
Private schools, a lot of money. Nerds.
Stanford pays no money on football.
A lot of money to go to school there.
I'll cover it here in a minute.
But I think that TCU has rebuilt their team a little bit. Sonny Dykes needs any wins he can get because the Big 12 schedule for him does not break down great. Stanford is still in a rebuild. I think they're probably another year away from competing at a higher level, at that mid-level, called the 8 wins level. Could they win 6 games this year? Yeah, they could win this game because it is in Stanford. But I like TCU at -9.5. I think TCU covers that with a 10-point victory as Josh Hoover leads the TCU Horned Frogs to a 14-point victory, 32 carry the 2, 35-21.
All right. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna name the mascot, and you're gonna tell me who's gonna win the game. All right. The Governors versus the Cardinals.
Yeah, Louisville's going to run the ball all over the Austin Peay Governors. They just lost their coach. A lot of their teams left. Louisville has pretty much seemingly improved in a lot of places. Now they have a brand new running back room, so we'll just have to see how that goes. And a brand new quarterback who hopefully actually wants to throw the football. And Tyler Shook. He's got to stay healthy, which he just has yet to do a full season of in 7 years of college football because, guys can just play that long these days.
All right. The Golden Flashes at the Panthers.
Yeah, the Pitt Panthers win this one.
All right. The Bobcats at the Orange.
Who? Bobcats, Ohio?
Yeah.
They're a good team, but I'm going to go with Syracuse.
All right. I don't know what UC Davis' mascot is, and they're going to Cal.
Aggies.
The good news is UC Davis doesn't have to travel far, but Cal is going to travel around the earth this year.
Well, they haven't traveled around the earth yet, and they have a good team, a great running back in Jaden Ott. He will lead this. He'll win this game running for 250 yards.
All right. What do we got? The Spiders versus the Cavaliers. This could actually be I can't believe Virginia's favored by 19.
FCS Richmond Spiders travel into Charlottesville. Anyway, and they beat the Virginia Cavaliers. While I do like Anthony Colindre, the starting quarterback for the Virginia Cavaliers. I don't like their coach. I don't like the lack of culture and the seemingly constant failures that he has produced there at Virginia. I expect the Richmond Spiders to go in there and win a close, tough matchup.
All right, we gotta get the show on the road on this one. All right, Houston Christian at SMU.
SMU wins. However, they look extremely disappointing last week.
Yep. All right. And let's see if they get any bold proclamations.
I do want to change my bold prediction from earlier. It's a little bit ridiculous to have Garrett Green running for more yards and Penn State's given up in a while. I will say that West Virginia as a team combines for 200 rushing yards.
All right, you're going with me with a coach. And I'm a coach. I'm a self-taught made coach. One much
Wing
coach,
T aficionado.
I loved every minute of coaching, though. All right, with the coach, my salute to the service academies. One of my service academies is going to be around. Army plays Lee on Friday, and Army's going to win by 40. It won't be a close game. Army will smash them. They're all three service academies are projected to win by 33 points. Winners and losers. Last week, I think a winner was Georgia Tech. Brent Key proved that he can coach. I think he deserves to keep his job no matter what happens. He deserves the opportunity to recruit and lead Georgia Tech. Losers, New Mexico. Bronco Mendenhall really needs to work on teaching those guys how to win big games. Conference breakdowns. Let's get to it. I got the CUSA first. Anybody want to talk about the CUSA?
All right. So you got Coastal Carolina at Jacksonville State.
I'm taking Rich Rod. They're gonna smoke Tim Beck. I have no faith in Tim Beck. Florida International travels to Indiana. Indiana's gonna win the first 4 games of the season. Everybody's gonna think that Kirk Cignetti's turned this thing around, and then they're gonna lose the next 8. UTEP at Nebraska. Matt Rule is gonna smash UTEP. Nebraska's gonna look all world. They're gonna cover. Kennesaw State at UTSA. UTSA is gonna be too much for Kennesaw State. They cover. Campbell, the Camels, my favorite mascot from college football. The Campbell Camels travel to the Liberty, the Flames in Williamsburg. And it's in Williams Stadium in Lynchburg, Virginia. Liberty's favored by 35.5. Liberty cruises to easy victory. Western Kentucky at number 5, Alabama. I think Alabama could probably cover. It's going to be tough. It just depends on if TJ Finley is a new man this year or if he's going to be notorious INT again this year or from last year. So I said Alabama could, but they might not. I'm gonna take the Tide no matter what. I don't know anything about Tennessee Tech or Memphis or Middle Tennessee State. I'm gonna take the
brand
Blue
new coach
Raiders.
from TSU.
I'm gonna take the Blue Raiders by 23. The Bearcats from Sam Houston State. They have a great FCS coach. He struggled with a ton of less than 1 score losses last year. He's taking on Rice. And I think Rice is a good team. I see Rice and E.J. Warner winning by. They're going to cover the 10. Nicholls State travels to La Tech. La Tech, enjoy your 8-point victory because you're not gonna have a whole lot of victories this year with Sonny Covey. And then Southwest Missouri State, or Southeast Missouri State, wherever you're from, versus New Mexico State. I'm picking the Aggies to win, and they're gonna cover. And that is the Conference USA breakdown. All right, now we're gonna head over to the old Big 12. We got the Gus Bus on Thursday night taking on Ryan Day and Chip Kelly's old stomping ground, New Hampshire's. UCF by a ton. Linwood's traveling to Kansas. Kansas is going to smash Linwood. Actually, they're not traveling to Kansas. They're playing at the Chiefs' home stadium. So look for that the whole season because Kansas is pumping money into their stadium, believe it or not. They're not going to look like a high school stadium anymore. All right. Hunter wants to jump on this game so bad. I'm going to go ahead and let him. Hunter, tell me why North Dakota State's going to beat Colorado.
All right. So I've fooled everyone twice with my bold proclamations about Garrett Green and the West Virginia Mountaineers. My bold proclamation is the North Dakota State Bison march into Boulder and score their, I think it's 9th win over an FBS program as they start adding nails into the coffin in Colorado.
Yeah, I would not pick North Dakota State to be my first game of the year. I think I would pick somebody else.
If you're gonna pick an FCS
somebody-
team, there's a lot of
I
teams
think-
I'd take. North Dakota State's not one of them.
Not one of them. No,
Colorado's
I'd
paying
say.
roughly $1 million for this game, by the way.
Oh, I would not go to this.
I gotta
game.
confirm
There's gonna
that,
be.
but I'm pretty
There's
sure
gonna
I
be
saw
a
that
ton.
on
There's gonna be a
Twitter.
ton of people at this game.
Or, sorry, X.
This is gonna go one of two ways. Either North Dakota State's it's gonna come down to like a last minute drive, or Colorado's gonna smash them. I don't see Colorado smashing them. I don't have a lot of faith in what I saw last year. I don't have a lot of faith in what I saw in all season. So, anyways, with that said, I'm gonna side with Hunter. Southern Utah's going to number 12 Utah. Cam Rising's he's gonna throw up ridiculous numbers. Kyle Whittingham's gonna coach ridiculous defense. Utah wins by a ton. On Friday, TCU travels to Stanford. You need to see, if you're a TCU fan, so we're talking about Big 12. If you're a Sonny Dykes TCU fan, you need to see TCU rebound and smash Stanford soundly at their home field. That's all I'm saying. No mistakes, no big penalties, no big comebacks. You just need to put Stanford away. If it's by 14, it's by 14, but it needs to look convincing. We'll get to Penn State, West Virginia, and my final breakdown. South Dakota State travels to take on Oak State. I mean, you could catch Oklahoma State here. They're catchable at the beginning of the season, but I think that the Cowboys are going to be looking for some CFP hope, and they won a Heisman Trophy out of Ollie Gordon. I'd say the Cowboys are going to cover the 9.5 point spread. Towson at Cincinnati. Cincinnati had a dreadful year last year, but we'll have to see what happens. They will beat Towson and or Tosin or however so. And Cincinnati win. They covered the 31.5 point spread. North Dakota travels to Iowa State. Iowa State's not losing this game. They're favored by 28.5. This might be the most points to score all year. They'll probably score 50 or 60 in this game. UT Martin. That's University of Tennessee. Martin travels to number 18 K-State. K-State's going to win the game. They may or may not cover. K-State kind of does what they want to do. There's not a big secret to it. All right, the Tarleton State. What are they're not? We call it Cowboy U because you get a degree in rodeo from Tarleton State, but we call it Cowboy U. But they're going to call it Texans. It sounds better when you just say rodeo. You know what I mean? Like, I got a degree in bull riding. I'm like, all right, sweet, you're hired.
Barrel racing.
Yeah, my sister's a barrel racer. But I'm probably going to get beat up. One-armed man shouldn't be talking too much shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But they take on the Baylor Bears, and this might be Baylor's only chance to get a win this year. So look for Baylor to cover the 26.5 point spread from beautiful McLean Stadium. And I've been there, and Hunter's played on that field, and it is not bad. And we got the UNLV and Houston we'll cover in a minute. Abilene Christian at Texas Tech. ACU's not going to have to travel far for this ass whooping. Texas Tech is going to whoop them bad. And then we have New Mexico traveling to Arizona for Big 12 newcomer Arizona. Arizona's going to win this game. Noah Fifita's going to throw up ridiculous numbers. I really like Noah Fifita, and I hope that Brent Brennan has a great tenure at Arizona. He's a deserving hire for a high-level program like Arizona. Jed Fish moved on to Washington. Jed Fish, great coach. He's going to be in the NFL soon. Brent Brennan, I hope that he can continue success that Jed Fish had at Arizona. And Wyoming, the Cowboys. You can't ever hate the Cowboys. They're a hard-nosed, tough football team. They're going to be playing with a new coach. Takes on Kenny Dillingham's Arizona State Sun Devils. And I predict Arizona State to win the game, but not cover because Wyoming's just a tough out. So that is going to cover.
BYU.
What's that?
Southern Illinois.
BYU. Did I miss this? How did I miss this? When is this game? I did miss it.
7 p.m. on Saturday.
Hunter, come on, seriously.
You just can't beat Kalani Sitake at night.
No, yeah, I don't want to.
It's rare, but it's hard.
Yeah, no. BYU wins this game. No big deal. All right, and that's going to wrap up the Big 12. So I did both mine. It took Hunter like 47 minutes to do one conference. It took me 4.7 minutes to do
I asked my knee to speed up. You said let me just do
And
my
I didn't
thing.
realize how long it was gonna. I didn't realize we were gonna have like a 3-hour show, but it's all right. We're only at an hour and 14 minutes, and I still don't know how to put this to YouTube yet. And I gotta be somewhere in the morning, so it may not happen. It may happen. I don't know. If you don't see us tomorrow, you'll see us tomorrow.
I like how all this is getting said like it's at all relevant.
What's that? Oh,
All this we're
tomorrow,
saying
like
right
putting. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
we'll see. All right, and then I gotta get to
Big
my top.
proclamation.
No, I gotta get to my
games of the
my
week. Games of the week.
one's the watch.
One's to watch. That's it.
All right, I'm gonna start with number one. Clemson's gonna cover against Georgia. Georgia will win, but it's not gonna be by 13.5. Yeah, I think Clemson's gonna be able to control the ball. They're not gonna make a bunch of mistakes. Dabo's gonna be coached up, ready to go. They're a hard team to beat with the offseason to prepare. I'd say Georgia wins, but Clemson covers. Penn State at West Virginia. I don't want to go play it at West Virginia. Not at all. I like Drew Aller. I like James Franklin, but I don't like going to West Virginia. I don't like playing them when they got something to play for. We'll just have to see how Neil Brown has them coached up, but I look for West Virginia to cover the spread and get the outright win. Number 3, the U at Miami, or the U goes to the Gators to take on the Gators and take on Florida. I don't have a lot. I don't have a lot of faith in Florida or Graham Mertz. I think Cam Ward goes and puts on the show. Unless there's like a hurricane going on,
Well,
Miami's going to win by a lot. There's going to be a hurricane. It's going to be marching up and down the field. But unless there's an actual hurricane, then Miami's going to win by probably 30. The number 4 game of the week, USC at LSU. My bold proclamation is Jude is going to have his chest puffed up next week about how good this damn defense is. He's like, that's right. That's right. Top 10 defense. National champs right here. I promise you, Jude's going to have more faith in his defense next week than he does this week. LSU wins, and I don't think it's close. I think they win by more.
LSU?
No, USC wins. I don't think it's close. I think they beat LSU pretty handily.
Blowout. There we go.
Well, 10 points. But
Okay. Convincing victory.
The 5th game of the week, number 7, Notre Dame at Texas A&M. I'm going to pull for Notre Dame. Regardless, it doesn't matter. I say Notre Dame wins by 4. So it's going to be like 28-24, something like that.
Score a game-winning touchdown. Perhaps Riley Leonard runs right down the middle of the field for about 50 yards, gets tackled. They bring out their kicker who sings opera for some reason, and he just drills a 40-yard field goal.
You're thinking of a game that happened from 13 years ago.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
You just have flashbacks. Flash forward. I think Notre Dame's going to run the ball. They got some big tight ends. They got some big linemen. They always have good line play. They got one of the best defensive coordinators in the country as a head coach, and they're going to control the ball. They're not going to make any stupid penalties and any stupid mistakes, and they're going to show you physical football. And I'm not a big Texas A&M believer right now. So with that said, I'm going to take Notre Dame to cover. All right, then we got the number 6 game of the week, UNLV at Houston. I really, really don't know anything about Houston. I know Willie Fritz did well at Tulane. I don't know what he did there. I saw UNLV last year. They played with intensity and they played with purpose, and they were trying to win their conference. UNLV is not an underdog by 2.5 points. You're not a massive underdog. I think UNLV could win
Really
this
just
game.
home field at that point.
I'm picking UNLV. Unless it's a torrential downpour, I'm picking UNLV. And then our number 7 game of the week, North Texas at South Alabama. As much as I want to pick Major Applewhite, the South Alabama Jaguars, I'm going North Texas. I don't think they're going to be able to stop, or I don't think South Alabama's got anything for North Texas. So those are my ones to watch. So look for that. And then we're going to get to the conclusion here. Make my bold proclamation. I already made it. I say Jude's going to be a lot happier with his defense, and he'll be that's right, top 10 defense. Hunter built him up a little bit, but Jude has got doubt because he saw all last year. Single game shout outs. I'd say watch any game you can watch. If it's on, sit down and watch it. And then my game of the week, and that's the WEAK. And that's Jacksonville State at University of Monroe, Louisiana Monroe. And these are two bad teams. This is bad. This is a HBCU bad versus a FBS bad. And the only thing to watch in this game is the quarterback for ULM. His name is General Booty. So that's my game of the week. All right. What do you think, bud? You think we did okay?
Hey, we kept it under an hour and a half, so there you go.
Yeah. Well, we'll do some tweaking.
Yeah.
We're gonna
I
wrap
need
it
to
up here.
not do my in-depth analysis on every single game. So
You just need to shoot the hip a little more, finger guns, Yeah. Or,
I gotta do the thing.
Or like you should have like a finger wand, But anyways, all right, Hunter. Go ahead and give your outro, and then I'll boot you out, and I'm gonna wrap this bad dad up here. All right.
As always.
All right, hold on. I'll put
you
you
get
solo.
pulse.
There you go.
Hey. All right. As always, in order of closest to my heart, start with at least to the most. Go Navy, beat Army, hook 'em horns, and eat 'em up cats.
All right. All right, y'all. I will rely on these guys to hopefully this all works. I don't know. We may have just filmed an hour and a half for nothing. But I want to thank everybody for coming in and joining us. And this is gonna be our first long format video we put on. That's not a live stream because we did it not live. But hopefully it makes it to the airwaves for y'all for Thursday. We'll see you next week. And remember, the team that scores the most points always wins the game. Thanks for watching.